Each pit had 2 or 3 people working on it simultaneously. At the peak of flourishing fabric trade in Kano, over 120 of these pits at Kofar Mata were highly functional, but only about 30 of them are actively put to use today. Several reasons have been advanced for this drastic decline.
Raw material and the market.
Unfortunately, a lack of patriotism on our part, Nigerians, a lack of care for our own homemade goods.
It bothered me a lot when I go to the dye pit. I see it dry. I see it empty. And I noticed in one of my visits that some of even the pits were getting filled up with rubbish because there's nobody there. So my question was, why? And I got to understand that they do not have market for their goods. So even if they produce, there's nobody buying. And they don't even have the capital to make production.
We have not achieved reasonable progress this era because of lack of promotion. If our products get the desired attention, a lot of success will be recorded. In spite of these challenges, the dyers have latched onto the traditional timeless techniques born out of the commitment to centuries-old practice. Though none of the men here witnessed when the first or last pit was dug, the process of preparing the pits and mixing the natural ingredient for dyeing has remained the same as handed down through generations over the years. This pit, with shape like that of a giant honeycomb, is constructed in various sizes ranging from 1 to 6 meters deep. The 1 meter deep pit is said to contain indigo solution that meters deep pits could last for the period of 4 and 6 months respectively. The 6 meters deep pit is the big one, and indigo solution in use can last for the period of 12 months. Haruna Bakpa attempts to capture this process and the role played by the 3 principal natural ingredients in the dyeing process.
These are the 3 ingredients to give the color blue. And this is the importance of each one. Number 1, ash. Ash to make the color shining. Number 2, indigo. Indigo to give color is blue. It's natural color blue. And number 3, potash. Potash is straighten the color. These are the 3 ingredients to give the color, and each one it has an importance of the dye. So we use some empty pits and 6 meter. So we fill the water, 1,550 liters of water of 6 meter deep of the pit. So after I fill the water, I use some ash. Normal ash from the firewood, 40 bucket. Mix it over the water, leave 3 days. After I mix the ash in the water, leave 3 days, we use some indigo. Indigo is a flowering plant. It's growing exactly like a henna. We are planting indigo here in Kano. So we mix 200 kg over the ash another 3 days. So after 6 days, we use some potassium chloride. So this potash is no potash for sale in the market. I make here 4 buckets, mix it over the indigo and ash another 3 days, calculate 9 days. So after 9 days, we use some basket cover the pit. After cover the pit, we use some fermentation period 4 weeks. After 4 weeks fermentation, we filtration out. After filtration out, the solution become brown. After solution become brown, we have some long stick, which we call hand stirring machine. In Hausa, muchar tukin baba. Then we mix the ingredient at least 1 week. Every day mix it 1 week. So after 6 weeks, 3 days, then we can start making the color. We have some 4 colors inside the one solution. Number 1, light blue. Number 2, navy blue. Number 3, dark blue. Number 4, blue black. So light blue is taking 1 hour. Put in and bring it out. Put it and bring it out 1 hour. Navy blue 2 hours. Dark blue 4 hours. And blue black 6 hours. So these are the 4 colors inside the one solution.
All sorts of clothes are dyed here, but most popular of them are the plain cotton materials. They first undergo a special creative process of look making. This is meant to create beautiful patterns on the cloth. The task was initially reserved for women because of their patience, diligence, and creativity. 72-year-old Hajja Maimuna Ismaila was part of the creation of various patterns and still makes out time to pass down these skills to her grandchildren.
Wannan sana'a tun ina yarinya muke yin da tun da ƙanana tun ba haifo ina.
I started this business since I was a young girl, even before these ones were born. And we enjoyed doing this job even while my husband was alive. And now that he is late, we are still doing this business. I feed the family from this business, pay children's school fees, and cater for all my endeavors. We create time to teach our children and grandchildren because of the reality of life.
Wannan kuli da muke yin sa idan an kama da yadi biyar.
In this business, when we are given 5 yards of material, we spend about 3 weeks. But if it is 2 yards, we spend 2 weeks or 10 days. We are paid 2,000 naira for 5 yards. For 2 yards, we collect 1,000 naira. For wedding conference design, we are paid 2,000 naira because it is a difficult design. The 3 baskets design, we take 1,500 naira because it is also a bit difficult to tie. For Emia's Palace loops, we take 1,000 naira because it is not a difficult design to make, and the cloud design is also 1,000 naira. In all sincerity, you rarely find men in this business of ours except women.
In spite of the dominance of women in this aspect of the trade, some men appear to have taken up the challenge, and Dan Asabe Umar is blazing the trail.
Wato ainihin gaskiya mata mafi akasari wannan kullun nasu ne. Mu ma kan mu mafi saboda yawanci daga babu ranin sai kullun ne.
It's true. Loops making is a women's thing. Most times we don't get the dyeing jobs, but loops making comes in high numbers. And if the women here are occupied, we have to go as far as Kwalwa to get it done. That's the reason I had to learn this job by all means. I learned it by watching the women do it, and afterwards try my hands on it until I mastered the art. Sometimes I give the job out to the women, but if it's an emergency, I do it myself.
Ni ina da baki da Kamaru, yanzu haka ma wani ya zo, kuma in ya zo mafi akasari irin wannan kayan yake siya. A rina masa, a buga masa ya tafi.
Young Muhammad Surajo represents the next generation in this artistic endeavor. He is only 6 years old, but his feeble hands are already getting strong in loops creation.
I want to grow up doing the business of my parents and my grandparents.
It is fabrics tied in various patterns that get plunged into the indigo blue water. After several hours of immersion, dripping, wringing and drying, the results are these rich, brilliant, colorful and uniquely beautiful patterns on the various materials. Interestingly, even already sewn fabrics, t-shirts and veils can undergo the creative transformational touch of the indigo men. Personally fascinated by the array of exceptional designs I see here, during one of my visits to the dye pits, I brought along with me my polo t-shirts for this wonderful experience. The home of Hafsat Muhammad, it made its first stop. The mission here is for pattern creation, and the simple tool for this job is the thread. The result after dyeing my t-shirt is simply amazing. I was made to understand that every pattern made on fabric here is named according to the concept behind its design.
3 baskets.
This one is called 3 baskets, in Hausa. Each one has its name. This is Emia's Palace. Here is the Emir in the middle, and these are his guards surrounding him.
Wannan shi kuma ana ce masa parliament.
This one is called parliament.
Ya sa haka. Abin da yasa ake ce masa hannu wai gidan wato kaga ga speaker nan.
And here is the speaker.
Speaker.
The patterns, though they're not many, they're very politically and passionately driven. There's some that called democracy. There's some that is about the joining of Fulani and Hausa people. Like, it's a very, very rich culture, and it's just amazing. So coming here was such a huge experience for me. The fact that it's one of the oldest dyeing pits in Nigeria, and I think in the world, is so impactful. And their tradition is still very much there, unlike different parts of our states where things have been have withered and died out. It's very rich here. Even the dyeing of the indigo is so much stronger than everywhere else we've even been to, because we've been to different states looking at different things. Everything is so rich, and even the people are very hospitable and stuff. This is one of the key ones that you should come to. Kano, even generally, you definitely should come to.
And no doubt, the Kofarmata dye pit has continuously played host to several tourists from around the world. The Old Visitor's Book chronicles the numerous scholars at this destination of ingenious and artistic heritage.
I think in 1998, I remember, a group of tourists from Switzerland, 3 of them, they came to Kano purposely to view the Kofarmata dye. I was the one that drove them in my own car. I took them around, and they enjoyed it. By the time they went back to their country, the ambassador in their country had to send me a beautiful souvenir showing their interest, their happiness as to how that Kofarmata dye pit was operating. And I remember in 1994, when Colonel Dominic Onea was posted to Kano, and when we were taken to Government House, all key government officials were introduced. The first question that I remember he asked when they told him I was the director in charge of tourism, he said, my friend, how is the Kofarmata dye pit? I felt so happy, which goes to show you that people from different walks of life were keen in wanting to know what about the dye pits.
Kano, no doubt, offers an endless treasure to its visitors, and Kofarmata dye pit can be used as a template for boosting domestic tourism and, if well harnessed, spur international tourism.
And the beauty of it, just recently, one of my brothers from the dye pit was invited for an international exhibition in Ghana. And Haruna represented us very well. He was an ambassador of that pit. The exhibition was fantastic. That gave a lot of requests for these products. So with this, the products are getting into the world. Attention of the world is coming for this. And the market will boom. There will be more employment. So the Kofarmata dye pit, it's something that is our pride, something that would always want to see thrive.
A tourist visit to Kofarmata dye pit is not complete without a peep into Mabuga, a traditional ironing room. The ramming sound emanating from here is enough to attract the attention of any inquisitive mind. Their task is to make the fabric straight, soft, and shine, and the tool is a platform carved out of tree trunks and a heavy mallet. The Kofarmata dye pit has evolved over the years, accommodating other business activities besides traditional dyeing and ironing within the walled compound. Laundry services now appear to attract more youths than traditional dyeing. The once thriving ancient craft and business venture risk extinction in the face of modern commerce and fashion trends if not given proper support and required attention.
This is an industry which, if we give it the right attention, will curb and reduce unemployment, will reduce the issue of drug abuse in our youth. I have always been passionate about the youth. So I looked back, I said, well, we don't have to wait for the government to do this for us. These are our brothers, these are our sisters, these are our aunties, and these are our uncles that are getting their livelihoods from this place, who are no longer getting what they need. So I asked, what do they need? What are the requirements for production? So in one of my meetings with my relations, because I call them my relations in the dye pit, people from the extended family. So I asked, let's get the items. I provided the money, we bought the items, and we donated the items to the people of the dye pit. So for me, that gives me a lot of joy to see that what I used to see when I was a small girl passing through the pit to go on errands, now life is back to that time where there is more activity in the pit. And by extension, we have taken some people off the streets, provided them source of employment and source of income. So it is a passion for us, honestly, to see the dye pit come back to its glorious days.
As the Indigo men look forward to more support from government, corporate bodies, and well-meaning individuals, the challenge of keeping alive this age-long traditional industry does not seem to have eluded these determined men. Even under the blazing sun, with the basket canopy barely providing adequate shade, they appear unrelenting and will do whatever it takes to sustain their generational heritage and family business.
Hey, beautiful. Your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3. Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Intel 4G. Intel. Live more.
The well. NPE International. Your window to the world.
Technology, the mother of all inventions, has influenced various aspects of human existence that in numerous difficulties has been brought to the barest level. Travel as a form of communication has been made simple through the invention of the motor car, which can travel 7 miles in a very short time. Due to various irregularities on the roads like potholes, careless driving, overspeeding, and a host of others, the chances of motor cars getting involved in accidents cannot be overlooked. As such, devices like the seatbelt and airbags have been made.
Basically, airbags are meant to serve as security for lives and property in our vehicles.
The motor car airbags are safety devices or features designed to protect passengers and drivers in a head-on collision. The question begging for an answer, therefore, is how many car buyers take time to check the cars for airbags when they are purchasing one?
Like we car dealers now, if we are going to buy a car, we are buying the one that has a airbag because people are going through what is raining.
About an airbag in a car, it's supposed to be a supplementary restraint system. It's supposed to be something that helps to assist during the time of an accident, but it only works well once you have a seatbelt across your chest, or else otherwise it can be a dangerous thing in a car.
Airbags act as a cushion for passengers, thus preventing them from hitting the steering column and dashboard, which may lead to head, shoulder, or even chest injuries. The importance of safety devices in a motor car cannot be overemphasized when purchasing a car. Therefore, it is advised to thoroughly check for those devices before purchasing a car.
There's a start. Archbishop of basketball. Go! He hung on that net like a stork up a tree.
NTA Sports 24 brings you all sports, all time and all day. Tune in to watch NTA Sports 24 on Star Times Channel 270, Star Sat on Channel 434, Free TV on Channel 731. NTA Sports 24, where sports thrive.
When you are fasting, you are trying to be closer to God. You are trying to tell God that, yes, I am your child.
I was commanded to obey my mother and worship God and to establish prayers.
They are a place that when you come with reverence.
You should tell the believing women that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty.
Until when we meet next time, same station and same time. My name is Tilima. What are they?
Hello, this is Weekend File on the NTA and we are live in Abuja. Many thanks for joining us. Barely 1 month after the Ekiti governorship election, Osun State is here again with candidates from 15 political parties, including the incumbent, Boyega Oyetola of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, vying for the seat. More than 1 million registered voters expectantly exercised their franchise across the 30 local government areas of the state. As we speak, results are tripping into the State Collation Center while counting is in progress. It is another litmus test for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, ahead of the 2023 general elections. How far so far? Well, we shall be reaching out to Osun State for updates from our reporters. Our guests are Ezenwa Nwagu, Executive Director, Center for Electoral Reforms. He joins us from Oshobo. Also joining us in the studio is Victor Aluko, Director, Voter Education and Publicity, INEC. I am Kenan Ima Abodike. The news first. President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to ensure that the prevailing security concerns in parts of the country are dealt with decisively, ruthlessly and mercilessly towards achieving sustainable peace, law and order. This was at the palace of the Emir of Katsina, Abdul Mumini Kabir Usman, during a courtesy visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
President Muhammadu Buhari was at the Emir's palace in the heart of Katsina to felicitate with the monarch over the successful celebration of this year's Feast of Sacrifice. The president commended the Emir for his continued support, guidance and encouragement so far, saying he does not take such for granted. His administration, he said, is not unmindful of the genuine public concerns, especially as regards to insecurity, and therefore will continue to do whatever it takes towards finding lasting solutions. The armed forces of Nigeria and other security services, he said, are under instruction to smoke out and eliminate all the bandits, terrorists, and other criminal gangs tormenting and impoverishing the nation's citizens at will. He, however, said achieving this depends largely on the ability of the people to provide credible intelligence to the law enforcement agencies on the whereabouts of all those bent on destabilizing the country. Governor Aminu Bello Masari and the Emir of Katsina, Abdulmumin Kabir Usman, acknowledged the genuine efforts by the president to effectively secure the country and make life better for all. They, however, identified sabotage by those desirous of getting rich quick at all costs, as well as injustice on the part of those in leadership positions as factors undermining efforts at achieving the desired peace enterprise in the country, and called for a change of attitude. They appreciated the president for making the Katsina Teaching Hospital project a reality, but called for more attention to the Katsina Windmill as well as the Katsina-Kano highway projects. In the meantime, while President Buhari was still in Daura, the Emir Umar Farooq Umar authorized the inauguration of a formidable security guards responsible for securing more effectively the newly created Dumorkol district, the birthplace of the Nigerian leader. The president's nephew and Madamin Daura, Musa Haro, is the new district head, while Umar Ibrahim heads the team. President Muhammadu Buhari has since returned to Abuja after a 9-day visit to his ancestral home of Daura, the first in 12 months. Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Let's talk politics. The 2022 Osun governorship election took off to a seamless start in many parts of the state. Olabode Arewa has details of the exercise across the state.
Residents of Osun State delivered on their promise to come out and vote to elect the state's ombudsman for the next 4 years. Many towns, including Ikirun in Ifelodun local government area, witnessed an impressive turnout of voters. The visibly excited indigents had kind words for the election management body.
The voting today is tremendous. There's no more voter apathy. People have come out in large numbers to vote for candidates of their choice.
The gladiators, who are the candidates, were in their different localities to take a shot at the #1 seat in Osun State.
I've gone around the entire state of Osun State. I've canvassed. People can see how many eventually can relate to it. It's up to Osun people. I've made myself available.
Because people have turned out en masse, and until the election itself finishes, I can't say much now. But obviously, I've cast my votes, and it took everything about 10 minutes.
We can't afford a situation where a lot of people will not be able to vote before the deadline of INEC. So other than that, I think it's okay.
It's peaceful where I am, and I have not heard of reports of violence anywhere. I came out, I voted, and you can see I'm still in the midst of the people. Nobody is attacking anybody.
That everything is calm, and we hope it's going to stay like that.
INEC equipment and how the process is now.
Fantastic. I think INEC has improved.
A striking feature of the process is the participation of people living with disabilities, the elderly, as well as first-time voters. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission were observing proceedings to trap vote sellers, their patrons, and drug peddlers. Collation and declaration of results usually holds at the State Secretariat of INEC. In Osogbo, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
We now quickly join Nnamdi Hodibo in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, for updates. Nnamdi, good evening to you there.
Good evening, good to see you.
How has it been so far?
Well, it's been a very long day. I'm hoping it will be a longer night. I'm hoping. I mean, since activities are moving to the state headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, I hope that with news of results that have already begun to trickle in, that it would be a shorter night. Okay, maybe not as long as the day, but of course, you never can tell with these things. I mean, they have a wind and a spirit of their own. I mean, you don't know where the wind would blow, but of course, for a fact, we know now for a fact that results have already begun to trickle in. We know there are 3,763 polling units across the 30 local government areas of the state. As of the last time I checked, and I'm talking about the INEC electronic result portal, that was a couple of minutes ago, we had a little over 1,707 results coming in from polling units. But of course, I can't tell you for a fact if that has changed since the last time that I checked and now. But what do we expect, Kene? We expect that these results would, begin to trickle in. I mean, last we heard as well, there was some issues, electronics issue with the portal, maybe INEC server, but I heard also that there have since been corrected, and results are dropping fast. And let's just monitor the trend and see what happens. But can I very quickly, let me give you an idea of where I am. I am at the state headquarters, and I'm standing just in front of the media center where results would be collated. That is going to be the state collation center where we'll have the chief returning officer. But as I speak to you right now, the hall is empty. I mean, they're yet to arrive, but we've been here for some hours now since we shut down our studio at the NTA Oshogbo station, and of course we had to come here, and we have a makeshift studio, and of course we would, in the course of the result collation, bring you blow by blow accounts of proceedings there, Kenneth.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a very long night, considering the fact that it is usual with elections such as this one. But have there been issues that likely tried marring the entire process?
Well, not substantially, not by any accounts, not by anything we've heard. Of course, there were a few pockets of incidents. I mean, we heard about an individual that was apprehended by security agencies for alleged vote buying, and a couple of other reports, similar reports, as a matter of fact. Not so much. Well, I do not know of, aside that and a few others like I just said, substantially, it's been described by residents, officials, party officials that we interviewed. As a matter of fact, party agents that we also met on ground, as a largely, substantially peaceful, and credible exercise. But of course, this is an ongoing process. Opinions might begin to vary much later, but we're not preempting any of that. But for now, going by what we've heard, it's been a fairly peaceful, credible exercise,
We'd like to thank you, Nnamdi, and of course, I will keep tabs with you along the line. Good luck to all of you.
Thank you very much, Kenneth.
All right, still talking politics. Ahead of the 2023 general election, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Party, ADC, Dume B. Kachuku, has taken his consultation drive to the stakeholders of his party in the northwest part of the country. Expressing his readiness to work with all relevant groups and individuals, Kachuku says the northwest of the country is very significant in Nigeria's political space. The presidential candidate, who raised salient issues during the interactive session, took time to discuss the lingering ASU strike.
Just from the northwest, Sawali, the current face-off between ASU and the federal government. We understand that we must start putting education knowledge ahead of every other thing. Our value system should be based on the right information, should be based on knowledge. The crisis we have in Nigeria, the things that divide us, won't divide us anymore if we have the right knowledge.
With the chairman of the party, Ralph Ngosu, the task ahead of the stakeholders is to ensure the party prevails in the 2023 presidential election. In view of the evolving security threats, the military is upscaling the skills of its officers and other security agencies in policy formulation and implementation. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, said this at the Nigerian Army Resource Center, Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
Different security challenges truncating lives and socio-economic activities in different parts of the country. These threats are complex and dynamic, requiring regular training of security agencies.
Over the years, the focus of Nigerian Army in the area of manpower capacity development has been centered on junior and mid-cadre officers. Nonetheless, the need to focus on very senior officers of the Nigerian Army was also observed to make it in tandem with the global best practice. It is in that drive and our effort to further develop capacity of very senior officers that this course was conceptualized and sustained by past leadership of the Nigerian Army.
This strategic management and policy study course for senior military, paramilitary and related civilians, organized by the Nigerian Army Resource Center, is meant to broaden their ability to develop diverse strategies in addressing evolving security challenges.
Apart from the little input from King's College London, these have been homegrown, purely. And the results have been wonderful. Even before they finish today, the relationship has been wonderful. And that's the essence of the whole thing.
The military enjoined Nigerians to see the task of securing the country as a collective responsibility. From the Nigerian Army Resource Center in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
As part of efforts to rid on those state of all forms of criminal elements, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has again distributed 50 fitted operational patrol vehicles to security agencies in the state. Handing over the vehicles, the governor said that deploying them would tackle a number of security challenges in the state. Abiola Ario reports.
Governor Akeredolu, recalled the dastardly act by unknown gunmen in Owo on June 5, noted that the vehicles will lessen mobility challenges being faced by security agencies across the state, especially during emergencies. While commending the synergy between the various security agencies in the state, the governor urged them to make judicious use of the vehicles.
I want to make immediate for the purpose for which it's meant.
Special advisor to the governor on security and commander of Amotekun Corps, Adetunji Adeleye, said the present administration has always placed premium on securing the lives and property of the people of the state, despite our lean purse.
That is a deterrent to most of the security agencies' operations, which is transportation.
The 50 vehicles were distributed among the state police, the Department of Security Services, the Army, Civil Defense Corps, and the Amotekun Corps. In Akure, Abiola Ario, NTA News.
Gombe State government says it is determined to leverage on the comparative advantage in agriculture to unlock its industrial potentials in order to provide opportunities for enhancement of the agriculture value chain in the country. Governor Muhammadu Inuwaya stated this while flagging off the sales and distribution of fertilizer to farmers for the 2022 wet farming season. Nafisa Umar Garba reports.
The agrarian nature of Gombe State, with about 80% of its population engaged in agricultural activities according to research, is impacting on the people and the gross domestic income of the state. This marks the flag up of sales and distribution of 7,500 metric tons of assorted fertilizer procured for distribution to farmers at a subsidized rate for the 2022 wet farming season.
This demonstrates our commitment to supporting our farmers to boost productivity and improve their livelihoods by ensuring timely distribution of affordable fertilizer improvement of our campaign promises.
With the constitution of Farmers Herders Conflict Resolution Committee and subsidized fertilizer, farmers in Gombe State are hopeful of bumper harvest this cropping season.
I have planted maize and soya beans. I will use the fertilizer to boost my farming.
The subsidized fertilizer price is appreciated and we thank the governor for that.
The fertilizer subsidy, says the NYIR administration, is aimed at improving productivity, creating wealth, reducing poverty and guaranteeing national food security. Nafisa Umar Garba, NTA News.
Now, the National Population Commission, NPC, says the 2023 Population and Housing Census will not canvass questions on religion and ethnicity. A statement issued on Saturday by Dr. Isiaka Yahya, Director, Public Affairs, NPC, explained that the attention of the Commission has been drawn to a misleading WhatsApp message which claimed that the next Population and Housing Census will canvass questions on religion. The NPC also added that the misleading message alleged that there are some parts of the questionnaire where respondents are required to tick their religion. However, the Islamic religion has been divided into sects, while Christianity has not, and the objective, as alleged, is to show that Muslims are small in the country. The circulation of the message few days into the conduct of the current trial census fieldwork nationwide is deliberately timed to sow disaffection among the major religious groups in the country. For the avoidance of doubt, the 2023 census and the ongoing trial census, like previous censuses of 1991 and 2006, have no questions on religion and ethnicity, and the decision was reached after extensive consultation with stakeholders, taking into consideration the sensitive nature of these two issues in Nigeria. The NPC calls on all to disregard the fake news. Report from the Office of the Vice President says Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo is in the hospital for a surgical procedure on account of a recurrent pain in the leg, possibly sustained from an injury while playing squash. Media aide to the Vice President, Laulu Akonde, in his official Twitter handle, says doctors would give an update on the treatment later. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed sadness over the death of a veteran broadcaster, Alhaji Yusuf Katsina, describing him as a humble gentleman and a dedicated journalist. President Buhari recalls that Yusuf Katsina has served at Radio Nigeria and Deutsche Welle in Germany for decades before returning to Nigeria to join the NTA and thereafter leading the team to establish the Katsina State Broadcasting Service. Katsina belongs to the golden age of broadcasting in Nigeria, which was characterized by passion for the job and patriotism, the president notes. You're watching Weekend File on the NTA Network Service. Time for our first break. Do stay with us.
Tomorrow.
What are these people doing in our community?
We are from the National Population Commission. We are here to inform you and your people about the forthcoming trial census.
Why a trial census now when there will be a census